I'm delighted to be talking today to Mr. Rabindra Jha. He's the Deputy Director General of the Department of Telecommunications in the Ministry of Communications and IT in India. Welcome, Mr. Jha. You will be playing host in Hyderabad to the World Telecommunications and Development Conference. What would you like to see coming out of that?
Main issue is to bridge the digital divide. Still, country like India or some developing countries or undeveloped countries, still the penetration rate is not as high as it should be. In India, we have overall penetration of the order of 50%, and we have to cover a lot of areas, particularly the rural areas. About 75% of the populations in India lives in the rural areas, and in rural areas our penetration rate is still of the order of 21-22. So a lot of work is required because our rural area is vast compared to the urban areas. So far the urban area is concerned, concentration of telecommunication is quite substantial. It has already covered about 100% or more than 100%. But rural area it is quite low, and a significant work is required to be done. Perhaps newer technology will enable us to take the work more expeditiously. So in this conference I think there will be discussion about the newer and newer technologies, number one, rollout plans. Number two, new technology like broadband services is one of the most important. It helps in providing the e-governance, tele-education, telemedicines, so on various applications. So the application parts will be also one of the very important subject matters.
Why are information communication technologies so important in rural areas, and what are they used for?
This has helped in removing the middleman. And now a customer salesman can have direct access to the market. They can bypass the middleman, and this has played a very important role. ICT basically, as you see, it may be the source of information, and perhaps it is a source of knowledge also. If anybody stays by the side of the source of information and source of knowledge, he can change your life. It can change his life. They can have a lot of informations. They can get a lot of educations also. So virtually these are the enabling systems which will work like a catalyst, particularly in the rural area, for which economic development is more required, because most of the people live in the rural areas. So perhaps it will be the most important work of the government to see that the peoples in the rural areas also get empowered, and that empowerment is possible mainly through the ICT informations, and ICT can play a very important role in empowerment of the rural areas.
India is a land of many languages. There's English and Hindi that are considered official lingua francas, but in fact there are many languages throughout the country. How, in terms of the delivery of public services and government services, do you get your way through that obstacle?
Technology is the solution of everything, I am telling you. Even there are different languages, the technology can find the way, and technology is finding the way. Now in different languages, now content is being developed. So particularly the cultural portions, some of the travel area who have the cultures, they would like to have their own language. So in the different languages now, the services and applications are being developed and is under development. So that will not be the issue. Rather, we have to protect their culture. So we have to use the language also. We have to use the technology. How best we can protect their culture? How can we protect their way of life? How can we protect their, I would say, the value systems. So different culture, different travel area have different value systems. So technology will find the solution of everything. Absolutely no problem for that.
You're very interested in the issue of cyber security. What threat are we protecting ourselves from? Is this a threat to business? Is this a threat to nations, or is it a threat to individuals?
I would not only say the commerce, I will not say about the national security, perhaps it is the global security. Information and technology is such a thing which is perhaps is the main parameter which distinguishes the modern society with the primitive society. So modern society are dependent more and more on information. So there has to be a very free, fair and secure flow of information to everybody for their life. So if there is any problem in the information systems, perhaps the life becomes miserable, whether it is India or whether for any country. So the issue is related to the global communities, and particularly the ICT or telecommunication is the main technology or main application which really makes the global really globalized. in terms of economics, in terms of business, in terms of relations, in terms of it is one. You can find the entire globe as one, mainly because of the information and communication technology. It has changed the life, it has changed the business. So information technology has become so vital and so important. So its protection and safety and security is really one of the concern for the entire global community, not an individual businessman or a government. Its application, its use is everywhere. Without secure and safe information flow, perhaps nothing is possible.
One of the main incentives to getting rural connectivity is to get people in rural communities connected to e-government programs. Could you give us some idea of the e-government programs currently underway in India?
E-governance has a lot of applications and it has a lot of dimensions. Not only that, in health sectors, hospital can have access to the patient can have access to the hospital and doctors, education also. So it is pervasive and it perhaps touches each and every segment of the human life, and where ICT can play a very important role through the e-governance. And India is going quite ahead of it. They have a number of projects on e-governance projects, and quite a number of state government has done a lot of work for the better management.